How you doing, guys? I was always under the impression that a person's spirituality was a more personal thing, and the only one who could measure it would be the Almighty Himself. A Watchtower seems to think that they ever have the ability to measure somebody's spirituality. And to look at it the way they measure it, it's pretty one-dimensional at that. And they look at it like this: as long as you're at every meeting, you're spending every waking minute out in service, and you're studying your brains off, you're a very spiritual person. Their way of thinking, you could be the world's biggest douchebag. I mean, we're talking double douchebag, just an all-around nasty person, wife abuser. Hell, in this organization, to even be a pedophile. But as long as you're at every meeting, as long as you're out in service, you're a spiritual person. How many articles have we seen over the years? And it generally is always the same. A person in a third world country out in the middle of a jungle, the person's probably blind, has no arms, has no legs, has to cross crocodile-infested water, without a boat, mind you, climb a 6,000-foot mountain both ways to get to the Kingdom Hall. But damn it, they're at every meeting. This is a blatant attempt to lay a guilt trip on you. And, for the indoctrinated JW, it works. For the others, we realize it is BS. Coupled with that, the amount of studying. The other way they measure spirituality, and I got jumped on for this more times, Watchtower articles. Do you have anything underlined? And I used to get jumped on that quite a bit, why I never had anything underlined. I did this a few months ago about the Watchtower study. And in all honesty, as I said then, and I still say it today, it's not a study. The answer is right there in the paragraph. If you read it, you're going to know where it is. You don't have to underline it. But nonetheless, people just underline like crazy. Whether it's the right answer or not, they underline it. Oh, look how spiritual he is. And it's a bunch of BS. I had one elder tell me at one point, this is actually not too long ago, about a couple of years ago, he said I was spiritually weak. I thought about punching him in the gonads, but I kept forgetting he didn't have any. But it was at the point I was waking up. No, I wasn't spiritually weak, I was Watchtower weak. Mind you, everything Watchtower does is so unscriptural. The amount of studying for 5 meetings a week, you're batting your brains out, on top of spending any amount of hours out in field service that you can get in, and it's never quite enough. Even if you're a full-time pioneer, it's never enough. That the endless studying on top of it. From the Watchtower study, the congregation Bible study now it is, every article for every meeting, the endless array of publications. Okay, there's only so much you can fit into your brain. And the thing about Watchtower articles and Watchtower publications, they all say the same thing. Is it really necessary to study every little thing? There was a scripture sent to me. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it because I'm going to use it. That I thought was quite interesting. This was at Ecclesiastes 12:12, where it says, "Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. Of making many books, there is no end, and much study wearies the body." Now, how many of us realize when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we were literally beat to hell all the time, unnecessarily? You can only study so much before it starts taking effect. There's nothing in the Bible that says that you have to beat the hell out of yourself out in field service. Nothing in the scriptures that say you have to study incessantly. The only study that is worth a damn, if they actually used a real Bible, was the Bible study itself, the Bible reading. That is the only thing. If they used a real Bible, but since they used that Masonic piece of crap, that's not even worth a damn. And the problem with that, coupled with that, and being out in service so damn much, you're reading it out of an instruction manual. They literally have to tell you how to preach. Now, back at the beginning, I said this is how they measure spirituality. The one thing they don't take into consideration, there's more to be considered. Not everybody's a good speaker. Not everybody's a good teacher. There are some damn good people out there that can't speak a damn. Okay, Moses. How well do you think he'd do in the door-to-door ministry? Terrible, because he stuttered. He was a horrible speaker. That's why he had to have Aaron do his speaking for him. Everybody is diversified on this planet. There's something that Jehovah's Witnesses don't seem to realize. Okay, everybody has different talents. Some people are good speakers. Some people are good readers. Some people are good teachers. Some people are great in the door-to-door ministry. I've been with some that were phenomenal. I've also been with some that sucked a big one because basically they're told how to do it. And the thing is, they preach so damn much that everything they're getting out of the instruction manual is all up here. Okay, their preaching is horrible. It's not here. So what good is that? Don't you think people can see that? I used to get cut off at the door a lot because when I was in the door-to-door ministry, I liked to be more myself. I pulled my nose out of the rule book. I didn't like the step-by-step preaching because I thought it was bullshit. And it wasn't me. And anybody who knew me knew that wasn't me. But a lot of times I would get cut off at the door. And thing was, I said to somebody at one point, as far as marking time down, I don't think that the first century Christians wrote down their time. And I actually had one idiot tell me, I think they did. And I'm like, yeah, show me that scripture. That was total BS. As the years went by, I realized it was total BS. I realized that no, I wasn't spiritually weak. I found the door-to-door ministry, for the most part, bullshit, because all they were trying to do was indoctrinate other people to come in and do more door-to-door to make a book publishing company more money. And that's all it is. You're lulled to sleep thinking this is the only way to salvation. You're kept in a little bubble, and you're not even seeing what's really going on. And in all honesty, Watchtower's not telling you what's going on. And for you Jehovah's Witnesses who think that this is the only way to be saved, and people like me who left the organization are doomed for Armageddon, maybe I am, I'm not the judge. You are not the judge. But I want to read you something. For anyone who thinks that this is the only way to find salvation is to spend every waking minute at a Kingdom Hall and every waking minute out in field service, I want to read something from Luke chapter 23, starting at verse 42. This is the thief that was next to Christ when they were all being crucified. When the thief said to him, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And for verse 43, Jesus answered him, truly I tell you today, you will be with me in paradise. Okay, that's what he said to him. He says, no, I'll tell you what. You're going to be in a 6 months to a year probation to see if you're really a spiritual person before we let you into paradise. No, he didn't tell him that. He said, you will be with me in paradise. Okay, unlike this fellowship Jehovah's Witnesses who are trying to get back in, they have to go through a probationary period where they're treated like literal dirt for 6 months in the back of the Kingdom Hall, and then all of a sudden they're let back in sick, and everybody's all hugs and happy again. That to me is bullshit, and that is one reason I would not put myself through that bullshit, and I would knock anybody flat on their ass if they wanted me to. No, Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. Okay, this is just something for you to think about, Jehovah's Witnesses, because personally, I think I've made it quite clear. I don't think a whole lot of that organization, and I haven't for some time. But I want to thank you for listening, guys. I haven't been around for a few days, but I want to thank you. I want to thank my subscribers. And if you come across this video, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. And Jehovah's Witnesses, don't forget to leave a thumbs down. But I will talk to you soon, guys. You have a good night.